There is a moment when a man finally stops chasing her, not because he stopped caring, not because he found someone else, and not because he wants to make her jealous. He simply reaches a point where he realizes that chasing someone for attention, affection, or reassurance has been costing him something far more valuable: his peace. Because when you constantly chase a woman, you are not only pursuing her, you are teaching yourself that her attention is more important than your own stability. You wait for her replies, you analyze her silence, you wonder why she became distant, you try harder when she pulls away, and the more you chase, the more your emotional world begins revolving around her. But the moment you stop, something changes. Not necessarily in her, in you. You become quieter, clearer, more grounded, and suddenly you begin seeing the relationship from a completely different perspective. In this video, we're going to explore 7 powerful things that happen when you stop chasing her, why your behavior begins to change, how female psychology can respond to that shift, and how Stoic principles can help you reclaim your peace without playing games or manipulating anyone. If you want more videos about Stoicism, psychology, relationships, emotional control, and becoming a stronger man, subscribe to the Stoic Psychologist and join us. Because the first thing that changes when you stop chasing her happens inside your own mind. 1. You finally see the relationship clearly. The first thing that happens when you stop chasing her is that your mind finally becomes quiet enough to see the relationship clearly. When you are constantly pursuing someone, you are too emotionally invested to observe what is actually happening. You notice every small change in her behavior. She takes longer to reply, and you start wondering what you did wrong. She becomes distant and you immediately try harder. She gives you attention, and suddenly everything feels perfect again. You are constantly reacting, and when you live in reaction, you rarely see the bigger picture. You see the moments you want to see. You remember the good conversations. You focus on the chemistry. You hold on to the possibility that things could become what you hoped they would be. But when you stop chasing, the emotional noise begins to disappear. You stop filling every silence. You stop creating excuses for inconsistent behavior. You stop trying to turn small signs of attention into proof that she secretly cares. And suddenly you can ask yourself a question you may have been avoiding. Is this actually mutual? That question is powerful, because attraction should not require one person to constantly pursue while the other simply decides whether to respond. A healthy connection has movement from both sides. Both people initiate, both people make an effort, both people communicate, both people show that they want to be there. And when you stop chasing, you create enough space to discover whether that balance exists. Maybe she reaches out, maybe she makes an effort, maybe she notices your absence and starts participating more, or maybe nothing happens. And as painful as that second possibility can be, it gives you something chasing never could: clarity. The Stoics valued seeing reality without allowing desire to distort it, and that is exactly what you are doing. You are no longer asking, how can I make this work? You are asking, what is actually happening? That shift changes everything. But once your mind becomes clearer, something else begins to happen. You start realizing just how much of your time and energy you were giving away trying to keep her attention. And that leads to the second transformation. 2. You stop living for her attention. The second thing that changes when you stop chasing her is that you begin taking your attention back. Because when you are constantly pursuing someone, your day can quietly become organized around them. You wake up and check your phone. You wonder whether she replied. You think about what message you should send. You check her social media. You notice when she is online. You wonder who she is talking to. And even when you are physically doing something else, part of your mind is still waiting for her. That is not peace, that is emotional dependence disguised as interest. But when you stop chasing, you begin redirecting that attention toward yourself. You start noticing the things you neglected while you were trying to keep her interested. Your work, your health, your ambitions, your friendships, your personal goals. The things that made you feel like yourself before one person's attention became the center of your emotional world. And this is where Stoic philosophy becomes practical. Epictetus taught that we should focus our energy on what is within our control. You cannot control whether she texts you, You cannot control whether she misses you. You cannot control whether she chooses you. But you can control what you do with the hours that would have been spent waiting for her. You can train. You can read. You can build. You can create. You can work. You can improve. And slowly, your life begins becoming bigger than the relationship. This does not mean you stop caring about her. It means you stop abandoning yourself to care about her. There is a difference. A man can love a woman deeply and still have a life that does not collapse when she becomes distant. That is emotional strength. And something interesting happens when your attention returns to your own life. You become less reactive. You stop needing an immediate answer. You stop panicking when she becomes quiet. You stop feeling like every change in her mood requires your intervention. You become grounded. But that is only the beginning. Because when you stop living for her attention, you also begin noticing something you could not see while you were constantly pursuing it. You start recognizing your own value. And that is where the third transformation begins. 3. You remember your own value. The third thing that happens when you stop chasing her is that you begin remembering who you were before you needed her attention, because chasing someone can slowly distort the way you see yourself. You start measuring your worth by how quickly she responds. If she is affectionate, you feel valuable. If she becomes distant, you question yourself. If she chooses you, you feel confident. If she ignores you, you start wondering whether something is wrong with you. Your self-image becomes connected to someone else's behavior, and that is a dangerous place to live, because now she doesn't need to insult you or reject you directly to affect your confidence. All she has to do is become distant. But when you stop chasing, you begin separating your worth from her attention. You realize something simple. Her interest is information. It is not a measurement of your value. Maybe she wants you, maybe she doesn't. Maybe the timing is wrong. Maybe you are simply not compatible. None of those possibilities determines your worth as a man. You were valuable before she noticed you. You remain valuable if she walks away. And you will still be valuable if she never comes back. That realization creates a different kind of confidence. You no longer enter every interaction thinking, how can I make her like me? You start thinking, do I actually like the way this connection makes me feel? That is a completely different position. You begin observing instead of performing. You stop trying to become whatever you think she wants. You become more honest about what you want. You become more willing to say no. You become less afraid of losing someone, because you understand that losing the wrong person is not the same as losing your future. The Stoics called this kind of inner freedom important, because your peace should not be placed in the hands of things you cannot control. Her attention is external. Your character is internal. Her opinion is external. Your standards are internal. Her decision is external. Your response is yours. And once you understand that, you become much harder to emotionally shake. But there is another transformation that follows. When you stop chasing and start valuing yourself, you also stop tolerating things you once accepted simply because you were afraid she might leave. And that is where the fourth change begins. 4. Your standards become stronger. The fourth thing that changes when you stop chasing her is that your standards become stronger. Because when you desperately want someone to stay, you can tolerate almost anything. You overlook inconsistency. You excuse disrespect. You accept one-sided effort. You tell yourself that she is just busy. You tell yourself that she is confused. You tell yourself that if you are patient enough, loving enough, understanding enough, eventually things will become different. But sometimes patience is not wisdom. Sometimes it is fear. Fear of losing someone. Fear of being alone. Fear that you will never find another connection. And that fear can convince you to accept a relationship that continuously makes you feel uncertain. But when you stop chasing, you stop negotiating against yourself. You begin asking different questions. Does she respect me? Does she make an effort? Does she communicate honestly? Do I feel peaceful around her? Or am I constantly trying to figure out where I stand? Is this connection actually mutual? Those questions matter because attraction alone is not enough to create a healthy relationship. You can be deeply attracted to someone who is completely wrong for your life. And when you understand that, walking away becomes less about losing her and more about refusing to lose yourself. This is not about becoming demanding or expecting perfection. Everyone has flaws. Everyone makes mistakes. The difference is whether there is accountability, effort, and genuine willingness to improve. A man with standards does not punish someone for being imperfect. He simply refuses to build his future around repeated patterns that destroy his peace. And this is where stopping the chase becomes so powerful. You no longer think, what can I do to keep her? You start thinking, is this relationship worthy of the man I am becoming? That question changes the entire dynamic, because now you are not desperately trying to be chosen. You are also choosing. And when a man understands that he has a choice, his entire energy changes. He becomes calmer, more selective, less reactive, more difficult to manipulate. But there is still another shift coming, because once you stop chasing her and strengthen your standards, you may notice something unexpected. She may begin noticing the difference in you. And what happens next can reveal more about the connection than all your previous chasing ever did. 5. She begins to feel the change. The fifth thing that can happen when you stop chasing her is that she begins to notice the change. Not because you are playing hard to get, not because you are ignoring her on purpose, and not because you are trying to manipulate her emotions. She notices because your behavior is no longer revolving around her. The man who used to initiate every conversation becomes less reactive. The man who always rushed to fix every moment of distance stops doing it. The man who constantly looked for reassurance becomes comfortable with silence. And when a pattern changes, people notice. She may start wondering why you are different. Why are you not checking in like before? Why aren't you trying to keep the conversation alive? Why aren't you reacting to her distance? Why does it suddenly feel like you have somewhere else to be? But here is where you need discipline. Do not stop chasing her just to make her chase you. That is still chasing. You have simply changed the direction. If your entire goal is to make her notice your absence, then you are still emotionally dependent on her reaction. The real transformation is deeper. You stopped because you realized that your peace matters. You stopped because you understood that attraction cannot be forced. You stopped because you were tired of carrying something that was supposed to be mutual. So if she notices, let her notice. If she reaches out, respond naturally. If she makes an effort, observe it. If she doesn't, accept that information too. Do not immediately rush back into your old behavior just because she gives you a little attention. One message does not erase a pattern. One affectionate conversation does not automatically mean the relationship has changed. Look for consistency. Look for effort. Look for genuine reciprocity. Because when you stop chasing, you are not trying to create a reaction. You are creating space for reality to reveal itself. And that space can show you whether she genuinely wants to build something with you or simply enjoyed the attention you used to provide. Either answer is valuable, because now you are no longer guessing, you are observing. And that brings us to something even deeper. When you stop chasing her, you don't just change the way she experiences you, you change the way you experience relationships altogether. And that is where the sixth transformation begins. 6. You become emotionally independent. The sixth thing that changes when you stop chasing her is that you become emotionally independent. And this is deeper than simply becoming less available. You stop needing another person's attention to feel stable. You can care about her without constantly needing reassurance. You can miss her without immediately reaching out. You can notice her silence without assuming something is wrong with you. You can love someone and still remain grounded when they are not around. That is emotional independence. It does not mean you become cold. It does not mean you stop wanting intimacy. It does not mean you pretend you don't care. It means your emotional stability is no longer controlled by someone else's behavior. Think about how different that feels. Before, she could change your entire day with one message. If she was warm, you felt amazing. If she was distant, your mood dropped. If she ignored you, you became restless. If she came back, everything suddenly felt okay again. Your emotional state was moving according to her movements. But now you are learning to stand still. This is one of the central lessons of Stoicism. Your peace cannot depend entirely on things outside your control. People change, feelings change, circumstances change, relationships change. But your ability to choose your response remains yours. So instead of asking, "What is she doing?" you begin asking, "What am I doing?" Instead of, "Why hasn't she replied?" you ask, what deserves my attention right now instead of, does she still want me? You ask, am I living according to my own values? That shift is enormous, because now you are no longer living as a man waiting for emotional permission. You are living deliberately, and ironically, this is often when you become more attractive, not because you are trying to create attraction, but because desperation has disappeared. Your calm becomes natural, your confidence becomes quieter, your presence becomes less needy. You no longer need to convince anyone that you are worth choosing. But there is one final transformation that brings everything together. Eventually, you reach a point where whether she comes closer or walks away, you remain at peace. So instead of asking Queen, what is she doing? You begin asking, Wanning, what am I doing? Instead of, why hasn't she replied? You ask, what deserves my attention right now? Instead of, does she still want me? You ask, am I living according to my own values? That shift is enormous, because now you are no longer living as a man waiting for emotional permission. You are living deliberately, and ironically, this is often when you become more attractive, not because you are trying to create attraction, but because desperation has disappeared. Your calm becomes natural, your confidence becomes quieter, your presence becomes less needy. You no longer need to convince anyone that you are worth choosing. But there is one final transformation that brings everything together. Eventually, you reach a point where whether she comes closer or walks away, you remain at peace. And that is the seventh and most important change of all. 7. You become free from the outcome. The seventh and most important thing that happens when you stop chasing her is that you become free from the outcome. This is where you know the transformation is real. Because in the beginning, you may have stopped chasing while secretly hoping she would come running back. You may have wanted her to notice your silence. You may have wanted her to regret taking you for granted. You may have imagined the moment she finally realizes what she lost. But eventually something changes. You stop needing that moment. Whether she returns or doesn't return, you are okay. Whether she understands your value or never recognizes it, you are okay. Whether the relationship continues or ends, you know that your life continues. That is freedom. And this is where Stoicism becomes more than something you listen to in a video. It becomes a way of living. You understand that your responsibility is not to control the outcome. Your responsibility is to control the quality of your character and your response to whatever happens. You can give someone your honesty. You can give them affection. You can communicate your intentions. You can make an effort. But after that, you have to release the outcome. Because love becomes painful when you start believing that your effort should guarantee a particular result. It doesn't. You can be a good man and still be rejected. You can love someone sincerely and still discover that you are not compatible. You can do everything right and still lose the relationship. And none of that means you failed. Sometimes losing someone is simply the price of refusing to lose yourself. So stop chasing the outcome. Stop trying to control what she thinks. Stop trying to predict whether she will return. Stop building imaginary futures around someone else's decisions. Come back to yourself, your work, your purpose, your health, your values, your peace. Because the moment you stop needing a specific outcome, you become capable of handling any outcome. And that is the real power behind stopping the chase. You did not stop chasing her so that she would chase you. You stopped because you finally understood that your life was never supposed to revolve around someone else's attention. You were not born to spend your days proving that you are worthy of being chosen. You were born to live. And once you remember that, everything changes. And that is what really happens when you stop chasing her. You do not suddenly become cold. You become clear. You stop obsessing over her replies. You stop measuring your worth by her attention. You stop accepting things that violate your standards. You stop trying to control her feelings. And slowly you begin taking your life back. Maybe she notices the change. Maybe she reaches out. Maybe she realizes that the man who once chased her is no longer standing where she left him, but that is no longer the point. Because the greatest transformation was never supposed to happen in her, it was supposed to happen in you. You learned that love does not require desperation, that attention should not become an addiction, that boundaries are not punishment, that walking away is not always rejection. Sometimes it is self-respect. The Stoics understood that freedom begins when you stop placing your peace in the hands of things you cannot control. And you cannot control whether she chooses you, but you can choose yourself. You can choose discipline. You can choose purpose. You can choose dignity. You can choose peace. So, if you are currently chasing someone who keeps making you question your value, take a step back. Not to manipulate her, not to make her miss you, but to remember who you are when you are not trying to earn someone's attention. Because the moment you stop chasing her, you may discover something far more important than whether she comes back. You discover that you were never supposed to chase your way into being valued. You were supposed to become valuable to yourself first. And when you do that, everything changes.